You're listening to the Back Home Network, presented by Home Field Apparel.
And welcome, fans, to a national championship edition of Assembly Call. We did it, Hoosier Nation. I'm the coach, Brian Tonsoni. I'm going to try to host this. I got Mike Weemuth with me here. We're going to encourage other people to join in. We want to see all you happy faces in the chat. Indiana wins 27-21, 16-0, national champions. That's the banner moment. There doesn't need to be another banner moment other than that performance by our Indiana Hoosiers. A little gut-wrenching through the second half. Took a 10-0 lead and then was able to hold on as Miami got some things going in the second half and scored 21 points. Had a chance there at the end. Sharpe gets an interception to put the game away with 44 seconds, and we have ourselves a national championship. Joining me, Mike Weemuth. We had a good time this weekend together. I take it you flew home. I'm home. How are you feeling tonight, Mike?
Well, how else are you going to feel? This is one of those I don't know what to do with my hands kind of moment, like Ricky Bobby. I was with you, Coach. Being up 10 at halftime, you kind of thought, all right, this, I can kind of grind this one out. But yeah, I mean, tip your cap to Miami. I mean, they really found some things in the second half that just really put IU up against the wall. But give credit to Signetti, Mendoza, and of course Charlie Becker, and some key players on the defense, especially Kamara with that huge punt block for a touchdown. So I think IU just did just enough big plays in the second half, even when they were giving up far more yards and first downs to Miami in the second half. They did just enough to eke out this win.
And a great win at that. But as long as you're ahead at the end of the game, it doesn't matter, right? And 16 straight wins in the season. You've never seen anything like this from Indiana. Hey, we're unscripted tonight, so if you have any comments or questions, throw them in the chat while we're here. We'll try to answer them, but we're just going to be excited. I did go outside and do some dancing, so at some point,
Is there video of that, Coach?
There is video, but it'll be top secret video. Sorry. But Mike, you will be getting a copy of that video as soon as my wife sends it to me.
Great.
You might not want the video, but you will get the video. But we're unscripted. We're going to just talk and enjoy this ride. So, Mike, I was okay going into the game. I wasn't really super nervous. I was confident. I got more nervous as the game went on. Take us through your mentality tonight, leading up to the game and then throughout the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, when Bob and I we hosted a sort of a pregame pod about a week ago. We're talking about what we thought IU needed to do and what Miami had to do to possibly win this game. I thought Miami had to hit three key metrics in order to win this game. I thought they had to win third down. I thought they had to win the turnover battle. And I also thought they had to probably have at least 4 yards to carry, for basically the duration of the game. And I thought Miami probably had to do all three of those to come out on top. IU won the third down efficiency pretty handily. Miami actually got 5.2 yards a rush, which was really surprising. Obviously, a lot of that was the Fletcher touchdown in the second half. But it turned out that the one remaining variable going into the fourth quarter that was even was the turnover battle. It was 0-0. And once you know it, the one turnover that Miami had was basically the stealer for IU. So IU ended up winning those three metrics 2-1, and obviously they won the game. How I'm feeling about going into it, yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is that IU so dominated the first half in terms of the line of scrimmage. I mean, Miami was only 1.7 yards to carry. It looked like IU was really kind of having their way with Miami. And clearly Miami did some adjustments in the second half. And so I would say I felt pretty good at halftime, but I was a little nervous maybe what Miami was going to do in the second half to adjust. And clearly their adjustments really put IU on their back feet. But like I said, this team has kind of shown a lot of resilience throughout the year. I mean, Iowa, Penn State, Ohio State, in this game, they just found a way to come through. And, well, that's kind of what you expect out of a national championship kind of program.
Yeah, Indiana really did a good job in the first half shutting down the run and actually forced Miami more into a passing game, which surprised me. There was a couple series where Miami went 3 and out, and they threw the ball, and I thought they were going to have to run the ball quite a bit most of the game. I think, Mike, that adjustment that you talk about that was key for Miami making this a tight game was their tempo. I thought at times in the third quarter they went up tempo, and then the fourth quarter, which kind of wore down the Indiana defense, and also it takes away some of that game planning because you might have to go to base defense and everything, or you can't get those signals in or as fast, or some confusion like that one little skinny post that the Tony kid hit. So I think that was what gave Indiana difficulty there in the second half, but a SIG team finds a way to get things done. I was really, just disappointed at the illegal motion there with 2nd and 1 because I agreed that it would be a game-winning first down, and it gave Miami life, but we came up with the big play.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like the Dane Fife foul in the Duke game. I felt like the one thing is like, oh my God, this is going to actually open it up for them again.
So let's go back to the first half. 10-0. Did you think you were worried about the adjustments as Miami started scoring? Your thoughts about Indiana's resolve? They came down and scored the 4th and 5 draw play for a touchdown. You mentioned the block punt. It seemed like Indiana was ready, didn't perform as well as Miami in the second half, but made those plays. Go over some of those plays, and again, your thoughts as a fan, as an alum, watching those plays materialize.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can really kind of I'm looking forward to going back and looking at the tape of this game, but it seemed like there are at least 2 or 3 Becker plays on 3rd down that I think were really pivotal. It seemed like Surratt was just not able to get things going, and Becker was absolutely able to secure some plays that just fully kept the ball moving. And yeah, I mean, had he not come up with those, you can imagine what Miami would have done, with the momentum they had on offense.
Yeah, there were some uncharacteristic mistakes by the Hoosiers, some penalties, some drop passes. Surratt had a key 3rd down drop, but Charlie Becker was not that involved with that. He had 2 huge catches that extended the drive there for Indiana Hoosiers. And what a find, coming in when Surratt was injured and then finding a huge role, enough to be trusted on big plays. And he had the catch in the Big Ten to get a key 1st down as well. Big plays by Charlie Becker. I thought that just showed a lot of poise for Indiana while they were getting, kind of pushed around a little bit in that second half to come back and win. So let's talk a little bit about the atmosphere before the game as we watched from afar. We didn't stick around Bloomington. We got the heck out of there. Wish I was there a little bit, but it seemed like Bloomington was on fire all day long. I can only imagine what Nick's upstairs and all of the bars were like in Bloomington. And I just lost Mike. So he won't be able to answer that question. But what a wonderful atmosphere to witness. All the lines, all of the people getting ready to go in the bar. People camped out at night in freezing weather to go in and witness. I'll be looking forward to getting back on social media after our show tonight and watching all of the action on Kirkwood down at the fountain. Luckily, the fish were removed, so they won't be taken by any means. And I can only imagine what's going on with all the fans in Miami. Happy flights back home. Robert Schwartz said, "Hey, Coach, don't know about you, but I wasn't able to breathe until that interception." Yeah, the last minute 40, I was sick to my stomach, just nervous. And I was actually more nervous in the second half after being up 10-0. I felt comfortable coming into the game. I thought, and I trust Coach Sig and the coaching staff, but once up 10-0 and it became a reality that we could win this thing, and just 30 minutes away, I think I didn't breathe a whole lot in the whole second half. But Robert, I'm glad you're breathing now, and go have a nice celebration drink of choice. I'm looking forward to a hot coffee here before I go to bed and get ready to go try to teach tomorrow. But was able to watch it with my son. He's sitting down here right over to my left. I think there's going to be a lot of great memories. One for all of us that have been Hoosier fans for a long time. For those of you who have joined, welcome. We have no problem with all of the fans that have joined in this last 2 years. I think it's a great memory for those people who went to the Rose Bowl as I did, to the Peach Bowl as I did. I was not able to go to Miami. My brother-in-law and nephew are down there. It's going to be a night to remember for so many people. And we also got to remember those who passed, who were Indiana alums, Indiana fans. I know there's several people that brought pictures to the game tonight. That's how special this moment has been for the Indiana fan base. And so congratulations to all of you in the chat listening to this a little bit later. I'm so fired up. I've also been partying most of the day, so I apologize if I'm not coming across kind of clean or pure at all. But I don't know how to feel, to be honest with you. Never won a football championship. I was down at the Fountain in 1987, and what a wonderful memory this is for all of us. It wipes away the decades of PTSD and that 87 game Michigan State stealing our Rose Bowl was really tough. But man, you had a good run with Mallory. You had the 67 team and Mallory's teams, which my brother-in-law was a part of. And, then you had, Coach Hepp come in and wanted to bring Indiana to this level. And Coach Wilson and Coach Allen both did some things to elevate Indiana football, just not to any level of championship aspirations. And then all of a sudden, this guy, Coach Signetti, and his death stare on the sidelines gets it done. It's a remarkable story. It's one we're going to listen to for a few weeks here. Finally, ESPN does not have an SEC or an ACC team to talk about and brag about. It's the Big Ten who is winning championships in college football. And so just a wonderful night. We got let's talk about a little bit. I was a little perturbed about the officiating with the legal hits in the first half on our guy Mendoza. There was a targeting miss. He got cracked underneath the chin. I thought that was really, really crappy. He got hit late, I think, in the back again. And I do appreciate the officials letting people play. The grabbing, both DBs were grabbing wide receivers a little bit. I do think they missed a tug on a jersey on Cooper on one of those plays. So I don't have any real serious complaints about the officiating, but targeting's in for player safety. That hit under the chin really could have changed things up. But how about our guy Mendoza, right? He gets hit in the Big Ten championship and comes out and wins. He gets sacked twice in a Rose Bowl against Alabama, and he comes back and he wins. He gets slobber knocked here under the chin, bleeding, bloody lip, and he comes back and wins. And it wasn't necessarily pretty. But what a gutsy performance for a guy who made the throws when they needed to. I think we need to talk a little bit about the running game, too, the offensive line. Boy, they had their hands full. That Miami defensive line is solid, and there was no answer. What's that guy's number 4 name, Brent? Bain. They had no answer for him. And Miami was doing some run blitzing. And again, then we started running a little bit outside, but at times we really got big runs, especially in that last field goal drive to get some 10-yard runs, 9-yard runs, chunks when they were trying to stop us. A lot of good play all around on that end. Kamara with the block punt. Aiden Fisher with some really good plays. Isaiah Jones also, and our guy Pons hitting people early and really not getting beat. Just really, really a solid effort from everyone involved on the Indiana team. So I don't know that anyone else is going to check in here. Any of my crew, I know Jared is in Miami. Ryan is in Bloomington. He's probably down on Kirkwood celebrating. I don't know if Andy or anyone else is going to jump in here, but if there's anything in the chat you want to ask or talk about, let me know. But what a run. Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon, and Miami all go down to your Indiana Hoosiers in 4 straight games. So, hey, Carlos, I am not calm, and I have grabbed a few beers already, and I did go nuts, but I did want to come out and have a quick show just to share with everybody. We got over 770. Hey, we got Coach Moats joining us. I'm going to pop this guy on. Coach Moats, we are national champions, my friend. How are you feeling?
Indescribably joyous and absolutely flabbergasted. I believed it was going to happen. I believed. I'm speechless, Coach. I'm speechless. I don't know how to really express how I'm feeling other than these guys did it. These guys did it. And the shirt says it all. I mean, and there were times throughout this game where it's like you thought, is that fairy dust, whatever it is, going to wear off? Is the magic going to? And then all of a sudden, it's like, Mendoza with the touchdown, the block punt before that, just and the interception at the end. I mean, you just keep going back through all these big plays where Miami makes a big play, IU matches. It was a heavyweight fight. It was a national championship game. You knew damn well that they were going to punch back when we punched them. And we got a banner in Memorial Stadium. I'm
going to come back to you, but I want to answer Russell's comment here.
Yeah.
Russell, you cannot see the dance. It's only going to be for AC crew members because it is very disgusting, and it was very happy dance, but it was may have been with or without. Might have been my Pat McAfee attempt. I'll just tell you that, Russell, and you do not want to see. Pat McAfee looks good without his shirt on. Coach Tonsoni doesn't look good without his shirt on, and it was a little cold, but we danced nonetheless. And then I do want to throw this up here too, different Russell. How about Galen Clavio? Let's just give a round of applause for Scott and Galen and Crimson Cast and the meetups that they've done at the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl and all of the podcasting and the big red carpet and really really building the football side of the Back Home Network and driving our membership and the follows and the subscriptions on this YouTube platform, and just really happy because I know how much it is. We've covered basketball, the guys who started out since 2011, and I've joined in 2016 and 17 as a full member, and we've had some tough years on that side, and it's really tough. We want to bring information to you, and we will continue to do that, but it's really nice when you get this level of success for Galen and Scott. The Crimson Cast guys have been here through the leanest of times, and Galen is he's on top of things and just does a really, really good job, and I know he's doing a really good job celebrating right now. And hey, we got another guest live from Miami, Jared Morris and Heather. Right? Hey, let's go.
Yes.
How
are you feeling, Jared?
Yeah, guys, I don't have my headphones, so I can't hear you. I'm just so happy right now. That was incredible.
Jared can't hear us.
Amazing game. I don't even know where we're going. I'm like delirious.
All righty. My son's saying goodbye to me. Maddie's driving, right?
Maddie's driving.
All right, very good. Yeah. All right, Jared. Have fun, buddy. I know you don't have your headphones in, but we're gonna grab him out of there. He froze up. But there's Jared Morris walking out of Hard Rock Stadium back. We'll see if he can get to a spot where he can grab his headphones. But Coach Mike was on for a little bit, and we talked to Mike, and so I just want to get your feelings leading up to the game first, and then we'll go through the game and what you thought about the particulars in the game.
Leading up, it was one of those things where after we left this weekend, dropped Mike off at the airport, we talked about this periodically throughout the weekend. it felt like a game where it's like IU had most of the advantages were checked in IU's favor. And leading up to the game, it's like I wasn't going to say I had a quiet confidence, but I was like thinking, okay, it's not only possible, but we're walking in by the end of the line, it was 7.5-point favorites. And you're walking into a national championship game, the number 1 seed playing number 10 in Miami. We knew it was going to be minimally 50-50 IU Miami with the fan distribution. The more we were hearing it was probably 60-40 conservatively. And you just kind of had to feel that, okay, this is within the realm of possibility. Mentally kind of prepare yourself to not come in saying, boy, we're just happy to be here. I think that was kind of my thing, kind of going in, that there's that trap of if something's not impossible if you do it. Something's not impossible if you do it. And it kind of felt like for the first time, it really wasn't impossible. It was possible. And then you had a lot of the advantages going in. And I don't think IU trailed in the game, did they?
No, I don't think at all.
Did IU trail in that game?
No, they did not.
You kind of think so going through that game, and there were moments where you kind of felt like, man, the wheels could come off, or they were, when Elijah Surratt drops a pass. I mean, I didn't think that was metaphysically possible, but it happened, and then they score, David Kirk, aging about 10 years watching that game because you just kept even that last drive with Miami going down the field and the interception at the end. Cignetti with that final timeout call, just a great move to get his defense rested and got them in that position. But kind of as we went through the game, watching them, halftime up, I think it was it 10-3? Up 10-3, I believe, or 10, up about a score at half. Then keeping it, that first that
it was 10-0 at half,
yeah, nothing at half, right? Because they clanked the field goal. And I think the big thing for me was just kind of they went out there. Miami kind of grabbed some momentum. IU, never daunted is not just a catchphrase. It's a way of life. And I think that at that point, IU's football team just again found ways. And when the block punt happened, got it back to 2 possessions. It's like, okay, we've actually kicked it into another gear of what this team is capable of doing. I mean, they didn't dominate any area of the game, but they won enough of the segments, as you would hear Galen and Scott or what Rhett would talk about on Big Red Carpet. They had enough of the elements of this game where they just they did enough to win pretty much all three segments of the game: offense, defense, special teams. And that 4th and 5. And by the way, that Cignetti call and that Mendoza run,
ballsy.
That's the word, ballsy. I looked, my friend Greg is sitting right over there. I said, that's a ballsy call. Mike texted it to me. I'm like, I think all of us said simultaneously, that is a ballsy call. It's like, you know what? We got a Heisman winning quarterback who's a winner, and that kid is a winner. And he couldn't and he didn't even try to roll him out and to give him an option. No, he faked the handoff, ran right through the hole, and he got in the end zone. It was a play for the ages. 1,000% agree. I mean, that's
I'll tell you what,
that's up there with smart shot. That's up there with smart shot in 87 right there.
Our chat room is hopping right now with great comments. So we're just going to keep this going for a little bit there. Just really good stuff. How about this? Poetic, they go 16-0 on the 50th anniversary of the 1976 basketball team going undefeated. We'll be talking about this team for 50 years too. You're absolutely right. This is a team that none of us saw it ever coming. Even after last year, you think, okay, that you win 9, go to a nice bowl or whatever, or have an outside chance to make the playoff again. But what a dominating season. I like this comment right here. Cannon ballsy. Yeah. I'm telling you, not only are our players and Coach Sig and staff on fire tonight, but our chat room is really I like this one too. Charlie Becker for game balls. How about Charlie Becker has huge balls? I'm sorry, we could put an E on here for explicit podcast, but holy cow, how about that dude?
Well, so I'm watching the McAfee
big
feed. watching the match, and they noticed he got dinged up on a punt return where he was doing coverage, and someone asked a question on a text message thread, like, where is he? And I'm thinking to myself, by the way, nice choice.
Oh yeah. Cheers, everybody.
I think we got cheers. But he showed, and again he made 2 great catches along the sideline. I mean, just almost improbable catches on the sideline to keep drives going, to just keep them just scrapping in that game. What he's been doing since he started playing, I believe it was in that Penn State game where he really just where he did that. But I mean, just all game long, being able to, or just being able to get IU offense and being able to. And I'm not going to complain about officiating, but I'm going to complain about officiating. Was that? I mean, there was stuff that wasn't called that was definitely interfering. Like there was one of the Omar Cooper where they're holding his jersey for 5 yards as he's running down the field, and I mean, even then, he's being held, he's being interfered with. Mendoza took some massive hits tonight, late hits. The one on that one block. I think it's something that as we look at this game and people look at it that really know what they're talking about, it's amazing. Eddie, how you doing, bud?
Producer Eddie is in the room. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm an absolute wreck.
An absolute wreck.
I'm an absolute wreck. I mean, could you ask for a better game, a better ending? Got to share the moment with my 10-year-old daughter, so that's a pretty cool experience. Because I remember as a kid having some of those with my dad and my parents watching games late at night. You start having those feelings at the end of it. I've spent way too much money on Dick's Sporting Goods. I have no voice. All of the things. So yeah, it's good to see you guys.
Eddie, you bring up something that is fantastic too, is the memories. We went back today, and Amy and I, my wife, we looked at pictures of when my boys were real little in Memorial Stadium. There's a lot of families doing that tonight. A former player of mine sent a picture of his 4 kids in IU uniforms singing the fight song. We mentioned it briefly earlier today, that there's people who weren't here that would have loved to have seen this too. So it's a huge evening first and all for the football team. They're the ones who laid it on the line, but for the fan base, Hello Newman's still in shock. Yeah, a lot of us are still in shock. I'm fumbling with what to say here, actually. I think there's a lot of memories that have been made the last 2 years. A lot of fans have joined in on the fun, and I'm all here for it. But we got some great comments coming through here that we can just kind of feed off what the people are saying. I had
the wrong computer audio, so appreciate Coach for letting me in on that one. But yeah. Hopefully you could hear me okay.
Never trailed. We got a couple people saying that.
I like this Paul Feinbaum one.
I can't. Where?
It's 11:58. David. I hope Paul Feinbaum enjoyed this game.
I can't find it right now. Eddie, can you find that?
Yeah.
Yeah, David. There he is.
Oh, there it is. There it is. David. Yeah, still in shock. Bob, you made a good point. Every time Miami answered, came down and scored, it made you feel like Indiana was in trouble because they were doing it somewhat with ease. And you were worried a lot about that, but they came back. Hey, we got another host popping on here for you guys. The one and only Ryan Phillips. You've never looked so good. We can barely see your face, but let's hear your voice, Ryan.
I don't know if you can even hear me.
Hey!
I can barely hear you. I'm just going to give you guys a look at what it looks like here.
There
Is
we
that
go.
Kirkwood?
That's Kirkwood.
I'm a block up, and that's as close as I'm going to get. It's
that one.
They're still coming, too. We've been here like 20 minutes, and people are still coming.
Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, I love it.
Hey, Send us video.
I will. This is pretty great, guys. Not gonna lie. Wish you were here.
Hey, we're with you in spirit.
Yes.
We can't wait to see the photos with the fish tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Hey, Eddie, I've mentioned this. You're going to see the AC people are going to see me outside dancing. I did my Pat McAfee dance. Every one of you guys has to see it, but no, sorry, chat mob. I like you guys too much. I don't want you guys, struggling after seeing that. But yeah, how about this? How about this comment right here?
No.
Anybody out there feeling daunted? No, thought so. I got to see 76 in Philly, and I got to see this. Life is good. Mesro 99. We did it, buddy. That's nice. Yeah, Brian, don't climb the light poles if you're listening to us. Here's one. Bob, talk about this. Hoosier Dave says the most torturous game I've ever watched in my life. How were your emotions during the game?
It was torturous because, again, my inner 12-year-old says LSU in 87 and then that Syracuse game in 87. But it was a lot of those similar feelings that you have. And, when IU basketball was in these types of positions and winning it, and we're especially in that 87 championship run. But if you're going back, 39 years to try to capture a feeling that you had, and you're a 50-year-old man trying to remember what that 12-year-old in you felt like. That was it. It was. And kind of just thinking at one point after the 2-minute warning, you're looking at, 96 seconds. You're looking at 45, 50, and when inside a minute. And when Miami crosses midfield, you have that feeling of I remember watching Carson Beck a week ago run that drive against Ole Miss. And you're thinking, God, it's just one of those setups that it's like that setup. And I kept thinking to myself in the back of my head, but I remember being a little younger than 12 and watching Vinny Testaverde throw it to Penn State. And I think it was that 86, 87, that 86 national championship. So you kind of thought, if IU could just make a play, if IU could just make a stand, they were out of timeouts. They had to drive the length of the field. It was just one of those that it's like, yeah, the torture. I'll just talk about this real quick. That late roughing the passer all game long. Quarterbacks are taking shots like it's a Rocky movie. Like you just see the slow motion punch and the spit and the sweat and the blood coming off the face of either Stallone or the blonde Russian dude or Carl Weathers. And you're watching this same thing all day long, all night long. You were seeing just late hits. You were seeing the quarterbacks just taking shots, and then they called that one at that key juncture of a game, and you kind of thought, man, oh geez, it's just are the planets realigned on me? So yeah, that torturous feeling that I think that I had, I hear what what he was saying. That was something. That was something.
Hey, I wanted to share this.
And once it was over, that relief of victory.
Brent, thanks for being a long-time pod listener and your appreciation for us. Congratulations to all the Hoosiers, national flipping champions. You're darn right, Brent, on that. Here's one from our guy David again. Eddie, the last 130. What were you thinking?
Yeah, guys, I get in a real weird place when it comes to games like this. Fetal positions. Let's see. There's a number of explicits thrown at just the minor things that you see during a game. I think the cat had come downstairs multiple times and may have feared for. I think it's down to 2 lives. Cats have 9, so I think it's gotten to 2. There's just a lot of things that go on, but yeah, it was is this enough time? And then you just kind of trusted that okay, the defense, Cignetti calls that timeout at the end, And he's like, everybody come here, come here. And he looked like he was giving an impassionate speech. We didn't get to see it because ESPN hates showing things like that. And that's where I was like, oh, this is where he's like, now's the, like, we cannot let them score. You have to stop them. So I had a little bit of faith. I wasn't as nervous, but yeah, it was a long time. And the whole game was long. I mean, I saw a tweet that said, enjoy the football that's kind of been sprinkled into this, commercial event. Especially at the beginning there, I was like, man, we're going to be here till like 1, 2 in the morning. Like, what are we doing? But yeah, that was a long time. So
both of you have mentioned that timeout. I think that is going to go down as one of the best coaching moves. You sit there and you wonder, why would you take a timeout? The clock is running. Well, Cignetti knows his team, and he knew that they were using tempo, which I thought they had used to their advantage a lot in the second half, and he didn't want the guys to be confused. He wanted them to I'm sure there was some encouragement at that time. As he says, when things are going a little tough and the stress gets going, he just, talks to them normally. He wasn't screaming and yelling at them. And, man, we get an interception because we have the right coverage and the guys are refocused. Both of you picked up on that. I thought that was a fantastic timeout by Coach, and I think you guys did a good job of pointing that out.
Coach, that's like a basketball timeout. Like when a team's like on a run, like when they get momentum, like if you start getting like a 4-0, 6-0 run, the team gets a kill on you, you call a timeout, settle your guys down, especially in this type of situation where you just kind of get them in the right positions. And
they were going fast too, right?
That's exactly it.
They were running tempo.
You break up their timing and their tempo. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was like great.
If you're going to use it, like, do you want to wait till they get inside the 20? Do you want to wait till they get till they actually get in that spot? They're one play away, potentially a 20-yard chunk play from getting that. So
I haven't seen this. I've seen this a couple times come up here in the chat too, Coach.
I just saw something on the TV that there was a little shenanigans by the running back from Miami afterwards. I know Tucker and the line and that were going at it a little bit after a play at one point. I know there was a lot of trash talking on there. That happens when you're really stressed out. Where do we go from here? What do you want to talk about other than, we're 16-0 national champions? I am shocked. The person who said shock earlier, I'm just rambling. I don't even know what I'm saying. But we are 16-0 national championships. Go ahead, Coach.
I'm stunned. You came down. I came over. Eddie, I can't remember. We were here right around Labor Day when Galen did the thing at Buzzkirk.
Mm-hmm. And
we had Galen on our show. We talked about it. We talked about, what – and, again, we talked about the whole idea of, man, a January 1st bowl game would be a great finish to this second season. It was just, we all kind of went into this saying don't expect too much because we knew what we had up against us. You had – Illinois coming at home, which we thought we'd handle. And by the way, don't forget, this team basically beat the Illini back over the Wabash River into the state and then, dropped them in a field somewhere between there and Champaign. Then there was Iowa playing on the road, which everyone thought, man, that was a trap game. IU found a way, miracled their way into a win there. Not miracle, but they just gritted their way. I'm going to use the word. If not using miracle, start using grit. But every game, it goes back to when we were here kind of thinking, man, 9-3 would be great and get to a bowl game. That would just be wonderful to see. And now we're Howie's point, we may never lose again. And it's not like this program is like looking to put, I don't know, a fourth string punter from Washington teachers and Bible college in his quarterback. They just grabbed one of the best quarterbacks in the portal. I mean, it's like they reloaded. It's like they reloaded F4 Hellcats with F14 Tomcats on the carrier deck. It's like they've done something here where you talk about not rebuilding, reloading. Kurt Cignetti, while he's winning a national championship, is reloading his team with one of the top portal classes in the country. And let's just call. Well, no, Notre Dame's not going to do that because they wouldn't even play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. They're done. They're
out.
Yeah, they're
hey, here's my buddy Rob Kinnaman. He's in a text group with me. He lives down in Florida now, but he was one of my IU party buddies Rob, we did it. But he said, I went old IU fan there at the end thinking they were going to score. So happy with that pick. Yeah, Rob, I was with you. That last drive and the ease that they were going through the secondary, I just thought we're going to lose this thing by one. This great year, led the whole game. Rob and I have had some good times together, man. I'm telling you. I'm glad he's only in the chat and not on the show because it could be quite embarrassing about some of the things that we did way back when Mallory was playing coaching football and we actually were winning a little bit. So, Rob, enjoy your time. Have a nice cold one for me, buddy. Glad you came and joined the show.
Well, I did the same thing, Coach. I think I looked over at the wife at some point and I said, this would be the most Indiana thing ever to like lose this game in the last minute 30. Like I said those words. So Rob, I was the same way, brother. I reverted back to the old, to the old ways and the old thinking that we've been, kind of accustomed to. But whew, I guess you gotta trust.
My buddy Howie, like, doing the show for a long time now, and some of you guys coming up and meeting me at these meetings. I got a lot of you guys who are friends, but Rob was a college buddy. Howie I met out at the Rose Bowl. Desmond Howard plays king against IU for a 30-game win streak. Will be appointment TV. Yeah, how about Desmond picking against us all the time? How about Saban pick? ESPN Game Day. I love the show because McAfee's on there. I'm going to need some help from Pat on how to do the shirtless thing. I think my neighbors were looking at me. The church across the street might have, I don't know. I might be on the prayer list, but that's a little cold to go without a shirt. But yeah, no one believed Indiana, and we were number one, and just dismantled two teams, and they're going to pick Miami. And I know it was close, but come on, ESPN, Eddie, your thoughts on
there's
on the Game
a
Day
little
crew.
bit. Well, here's the deal. And again, I grew up, I used to teach, mass media production. Like I get it. Right. So there's a little bit of, if we all think Indiana's going to win and there's this forlorn conclusion that this is going to happen, we need people to watch. So let's just everybody jump on. Cause I saw all of it like throughout the day, like at the beginning of the day, if you watch some of the early stuff, which I did, had the day off, I'm obsessed. Watched all the content, right? Everything you saw throughout the day was IU. And then like Booger changed his pick at like 4:00 in like the 4:00 hour. And then all of a sudden you had some other people change their picks. And then when the game day set came, it was like, oh, we're all going Miami. It's like, eventually they need people to like keep interest. Although I think there was a fear that like, well, if Indiana fans show up and it's a little bit of a home game for the Hoosiers, this could get to be a blowout. So I was shocked. And I want to get your take, both of your takes. Like, I was shocked it was as close as it was. And it was just like, did they just sell out on, we're just going to try to kill Mendoza, and if we get there a bunch, maybe we rattle him enough that he can't do what he needs to do to put up 50 on us? Like, it felt like they kind of just sold that out.
I'll start.
No,
go ahead. Go ahead, Coach.
Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
I'll say this. I think a lot of it was, and Mike and I talked about this also, and I like to reference the smartest guy, one of the smartest guys I know, maybe he is the smartest guy I know, that you had some definitive advantage spots that Miami had, that especially on the edge rush and especially on the right side of IU's line, and they did a really good job of scheming, especially in the second half, to get to Mendoza, to really kind of throw off IU's timing, to really disrupt what IU was trying to do. And you kind of look at that and you're thinking, because I was in the same boat, Eddie, because I figured, hey, IU doesn't make mistakes. That was the other part of this. IU made uncharacteristic mistakes at times through the game. Drop passes, penalties here and there, false start penalties. Just that false start penalty where it resulted in the settling for the field goal, having to settle for a field goal at the end of the game. These are things we're not used to seeing from a Kurt Cignetti team, and we saw them today. And it's a national championship. Mistakes happen. I mean, we all watched Chris Webber use a timeout that didn't exist, and he was one of the best college players in the country, and also one of the best NBA players of his time. And he makes that type of mistake. But I felt the same way. It was almost like, man, at some point it just felt like IU was going to blow the doors off this, and it just didn't happen. And part of that also is to Miami again. Tony was a heck of a playmaker. When they schemed him on that one drive to get that in the end zone, that was a huge, kind of a huge momentum, a huge momentum grab by Miami. IU comes back down, though. It's a matter of did you match punch for punch? And for the first time in this playoff, a team was actually punching back versus just rolling over and dying.
Yeah, I had a prediction 27-17 before the game. I thought this was going to be a lot like the Big Ten championship, or the Iowa game, the Penn State game. You know, Indiana was the better team in all of those, but was in dogfights. I thought this game was going to be very similar to that. I know the last two games, Indiana won quite easily, but even the Alabama game was only 17-0 at halftime. This one was 10-0 at halftime. Right. The thing that concerned me, and that I said to my wife and Brent and his girlfriend sitting here, was the big explosive plays. And in the second half, Miami was able to scheme, as Coach said, some of those things up. The run, there was a misfit by the safety, Farrell. Took a bad angle on that Fletcher run, and he popped that one. And then I think the tempo that Miami did really caused some confusion. And, you know, the 3rd and 15, the really play that broke Indiana and kept us from blowing it open, I think, was the 3rd and 15 where they had a 22-yard pass in a seam to the tight end. And then they popped a couple of long ones, one to Tony for 40-some yards or whatever, and went down and scored. Like if Indiana – gets that stop there, and then, you know, I forget what the score was, but Indiana was up 10. They're going to have to punt or go for it, 4th and 15 from their own 15-yard line. That would have been ball game, and at that point, then Indiana punches it in, and they win by 17 if they could get that score going. But Miami's defensive line and physical attributes were just you know, they're a good football team, and when you get to the championship, you're going to play good football. And I think it didn't surprise. I didn't want it to be that close, but it didn't surprise me that it was that close. And I think, Eddie, if we make that tackle on Fletcher and get them to stop and go down, I thought if we had a score to start the half, the game was going to be over if we were up 17-0, because I didn't think Miami had an answer, but they found an answer there.
Again, it probably wasn't as tight. It probably wasn't as tight as I envisioned it throughout I'm gonna have to go back and watch so I can actually enjoy the watch. Right? I think that's usually what I end up doing. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch all the different versions. You know, I want to see McAfee's stuff. I want to see the coach's version of that. I think I got it all recorded enough and be watching that once a week probably until the football season starts next. So, yeah, that would be good. Hey, let's talk about that, Eddie. That's a great thing. Cheers, Don Fisher, for all that you do for Indiana University. I raise that's an empty beer can now, but cheers to you, my friend, for just being a golden voice of Indiana basketball and Indiana football. And again, kudos goes to the guys on the field. They want it. But for a lot of us who have either worked around there, Jeremy Gray, the athletic department, all the people that put in long hours, there's a reward for all of them as well. But Don, congratulations. Rest that voice. Please tell me someone else is doing the Michigan game tomorrow. Is he flying straight up to Michigan and doing the IU basketball game? It wouldn't surprise me. What a quality guy. Talk a little bit, Coach, about Don Fisher being able to
I put him on the last minute. I mean, I had McAfee's feed going because I just didn't want to listen to actual, you know, I want to hear his analysis versus, you know, everybody else's. And yeah, David, it was amazing hearing him at the end because
it was a great call, David.
You could hear as that interception happened. I had him on Sirius for about 30 seconds back, and I mean, you could just hear the emotion coming out of this man's voice. And all of us who are IU football fans have been there in that situation where IU's down by multiple scores in a fourth quarter, and Don is still enthusiastically calling 2-yard runs by Alex Smith up the middle. You know, those types of plays that Don has been the professionalism he's brought to that job and to this position over the course of his 50+ years behind the mic. They're not, you know, I mean, they don't build them like this anymore. And the fact that he's got to see 3 IU national champions in basketball, but now he gets to see a football national championship as well. IU is now, this is rarefied air, isn't it? How many programs have done both?
I don't know. That's a Galen question for when he's ready to podcast. Maybe here in an hour or two when he gets an Uber.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to talk about this.
But man,
I think David Kirk, who we mentioned quite a few times already, has made some good comments here. But we didn't get a lot of sacks, but I think there was a reason, and Bull 8410 has it penned correctly here, because IU was only rushing 3 many times. And again, Galen will have the football stuff, and Rhett Lewis will have all the football talk. We're basketball people, just emotionally babbling here. But I think what happened was their offensive line was big, and the quarterback was known to have trouble throwing into zone defense. And then you couple that with really talented wide receivers with speed. And in order to prevent the big plays, Indiana was dropping 8 into coverage and making it hard for Miami to get open, and then also to force throws underneath and then come up and tackle so they wouldn't have the big explosive plays. And I think that's one of the schemes. Again, a lot of times we've seen IU defend the pass a lot with sacks and pressures and all of that, but I think overall they were really a little bit leery of big plays and did that. And then Miami found some seams in that second half to get those big plays, but Indiana did a good job in that first half of limiting that, and that's why he had a lot of time to throw. Ryan made it probably back to his hotel room where we can hear him now. Give us your thoughts.
First of all, this is the worst lighting I've ever had for anything, so just FYI. Hyatt Place, step up your game. I just unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. And like the way it happened was perfect for this team, because they won with toughness against a team that was supposed to be so big and strong and tougher than them. Some nervy moments there for a bit at the end, which we haven't felt in a long time with this team, but just they did what they always do, and they made fewer mistakes and they won the game. And that was pretty unbelievable. That play by Mendoza, man, that's it, to me, that surpasses, Keith Smart's shot, like any of those. Like that moment was just, one guy on his own doing something for his team. I can't just begin to fathom how awesome that must have felt for him and how great it was for us.
Tell us about Kirkwood. Oh, go ahead, Eddie. Then I want to hear Kirkwood.
Before he tells us about Kirkwood, let's take a look. I've got his video. You're not getting within 15 feet of that place.
No, I mean, look, it's honestly, I feel like it's not our place. That's for the students. I was just an observer. Because there's nothing worse than the old guy coming in to ruin their fun. We were just, my girlfriend and I were just standing there looking at it. We just said, this would be a great night to still be in college. There are people who are going to talk about this for the next 50 years. And it was a very excited crowd, but it wasn't, nobody was doing anything crazy. They were going right up the sample gates and appeared to be just packed in there, and everyone was leaving them alone, letting them do it. And people just kept coming. I mean, we were out there for 20 minutes for 20 minutes when I called in the first time. We were there for probably 50 minutes, and people were still coming. I think people were coming in from the outskirts of Bloomington and parking and walking, and just to see it, just to be here, because I haven't had one of these in a while. So you can't take it for granted when you get it.
Eddie, thanks for getting that video up quick.
Say that.
Go ahead, Coach.
I think I remember, and Coach in '87. I think all of us in '87, even afterwards, kind of thought, well, this is going to happen regularly in our lives and for basketball, and even under the Mallory tenure, you kind of thought, well, it's really possible that they're going to figure some things out and get to a Rose Bowl. He's going to keep kind of rolling on this, and it became it's a moment to savor, for all of us, alums, fans, longtime fans, whether you got an IU degree or you just, you love the program and you live in the state or don't live in the state, love the program, whatever, wherever you are with this. But if you're like a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid, as I think I said that to about 10 kids this weekend, as I was talking to them, as I bump into them at a place like an upstairs of the Bluebird or just with friends of mine who have kids at IU. Enjoy every moment of this, savor every moment of this, because these types of things don't happen that often in your life. as a fan or with your identities. Unless you're a New York Yankees fan of the 50s. That's and you just kind of roll out of bed and expect your bonus check if you're Bob Serve, where you're planning on spending money on that. So it just doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I mean,
Ryan,
sorry, Coach, but I was just gonna say, I've been a fan since I arrived on campus in 2003, and I've never seen this. I've never gotten a chance. That's a long time for nothing in that department, and especially with a big athletic program like Indiana's. It's just it is so crazy just to see in person. I'm glad I was here for it. I know I'm sure big tug of war between being here and Miami. What would feel better tonight? But I loved being on Kirkwood for it and seeing all that joy in one place.
My good buddy Dale there went back and forth pacing through this game. Ryan, take us through your thoughts in the second half as Miami started to find some traction with their offense, and yet Indiana seemed to answer. How were you emotionally? You can answer that two ways, as a fan and then as an analyst. That second half was something to see, and Dale wore out his carpet during that second half.
Yeah, I was supremely confident until Indiana got stopped and had to settle for a field goal. And then I was sure they were going to score on that drive. Something was going to happen. They had a couple great plays, great calls to continue that drive. But I really thought they were going to score a touchdown. And when they didn't, I was kind of like, oh no, is this where we're going to have to hear about the Carson Beck redemption story for the next 8 months? And I really was. That's the first time I got nervous. I thought they were going to win the whole game, and that's the first time I got nervous. And I had to actually stand up from my chair at the bar and kind of pace around a little, and then lean on the bar. I couldn't sit down. And then obviously, when they get that interception, just the place. I was at Smokeworks, and the whole place just exploded. Like it was like a bomb went off. It was, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever felt that. I think, and again, as has been the case, for big wins this season, I'll just kind of sit there quietly. I'm not jumping around or celebrating. It's just I'm in disbelief, complete disbelief.
Happy birthday, Joel! What a birthday to win a championship. You've been going to games for a long time, and I know you're a true Hoosier. So happy birthday to you, and congratulations on the Hoosiers winning on your birthday. Ryan, we've had a great chat. Winning brings out a lot of comments, but a lot of comments just about what people are feeling, a lot of comments that have been really good about, the strategy and what went on the field. It's been a great night for Indiana football, a great night for being a fan, a great night for being a host, because I've been just feeding off of our chat all night long. So it's been a good night.
I'm proud of you, chat. Good job.
I know my wife looked at me and said,
dicey, so
totally redeemed themselves.
Yeah, they came back strong. When it's always a little better when you win than when you lose. Tomorrow night when I'm hosting the show at Michigan, they'll come back out. Some of those guys will come back out. After a tough game up in Michigan
for a few weeks.
Yeah, just tomorrow night's chat. Just talk football in there. But my wife looked at me like, you're doing a show after what I just witnessed with you, watching this whole game and then going out and doing my Pat McAfee and on Highway 421 in Delphi. But I've been able to keep it going a little bit. But where do we want to go as a show, or we want to kind of wrap it up? It is I do have to work tomorrow if I can even think about that.
Did Delphi actually do like a delay like some of the other school districts in the state of Indiana?
No, I'll probably do my own delay.
That's what happens when you got one foot out the door.
Right, burn that. You can't.
I'm gonna be there. But those kids aren't gonna get much out of me. So it might be question and answer, something like that. But. No, it was good. Let's just throw it around for a quick last call. We'll go Eddie, Bob, and then Ryan, and then I'll sum it up, and then we'll head the heck out of here, and I'll try to get a recording out to Jared or something. It's been a fun night. But Eddie, 16-0 national champions. You've been going down to football games for a while. Big Indiana fan. Your thoughts on this wonderful evening?
Lots of feelings. Yeah, like I mentioned, just having the opportunity to share it with my family. Like I was, got those memories with my parents when I was a kid. That really meant a lot today. You kind of get emotional, choked up over stuff like that. So now it's the ordering all of the things and then slowly realizing that the email that Scott Dolson sent where he said, you're going to pay a licensing fee for your tickets are going to go up. All of those things are now worth it. And I can be excited about spending a little bit more money next year for whatever it may cost. Cause I get to see a defending national champion defend their title in 2026. Somebody did ask when the first game was. Don't worry. Producer Eddie's always on the case. September 5th.
Okay.
That's how long you have. For
there
the
we go.
Game.
Man.
Coach Moats, your thoughts on this wonderful, glorious evening?
I'm gonna do just some real quick kind of thank yous or kind of like, or just, commemorations real fast. So play the Oscar exit music if you need to. Real fast. I would like to say, congratulations to DeWeese Wilson, to Jake Reed, to Cam Wilson, and to Harry Kreider, four young men who played for me as kids, who were IU football players when they went, for a few years back throughout various regimes. And, proud of what you did for IU. And this is as much yours as it is for every guy that's put on the cream and crimson, since the inception of football. That, it's been everyone kind of going in that direction. I would say a special shout out to Bill Murphy. Mike just sent the text to him. Bill, who is one of the great treasures of Indiana University, the Donald Davidson of Indiana University athletics. And the fact that, he got to see a Rose Bowl win, got to see a national championship win, got to kind of, after years of being out there at Memorial Stadium as a young man, as a kid, all the way through adulthood, and just loving this and chronicling it the way that he has. Congratulations to Bill Murphy. Last person I'm going to mention is Scott Dolson. And I remember sitting in a room with Scott Dolson in 1996 when we heard Clarence Doniger say, we're hoping that we can fill the bowl in and get a national competitor here, and we think Cam Cameron's the guy to do it. Scott was in that room. Scott has spent the last 30 years hearing that vision from Clarence Doniger and others that came before him, and learning, figuring out, and just figuring out how the game was being played to get the right hire in at the right time under the right circumstances with the right resources to get Indiana University from historically the worst football program in college Division I history to a national championship in light speed. So just kudos to all, and God, what a feeling.
Ryan, last call, buddy.
I'm just going to say this is the most unlikely national championship or championship in sports history. Bigger than, I can't even think of anything that compares to it. The Miracle on Ice is the only thing that comes close, genuinely. This was a program. I wrote a thing today for our sister site, Fansided. Indiana won 12 games during my time on campus. 12 games. They won that by late November this year. And then they kept going. And if anything, they got better as it went along. I just want Indiana fans to understand that not only is this a national championship, and that's great, and those don't come along very often. I want you to remember how unlikely this was and how nobody thought they could do it. Not a single person on the planet, even after making the playoff last year, nobody thought they could do it. And it is, in my opinion, the greatest story in sports history. And I think Cignetti's coaching job is the greatest in sports history. I'm not exaggerating there. It truly is unbelievable what these kids have done. What all these incredibly likable underdog guys who nobody wanted have taken a team and beaten Ohio State, Oregon. They won 5 games against college football playoff teams this year. None of them were at home. They were able to do that and to come out and be 16-0. This is one of the greatest teams of all time. There's no question about that. I think it's probably top 3, indisputably. You had that. That was yours. Hoosier fans. like understand and appreciate that, and never forget how you feel right now, because best feeling in the world.
I'm going to end tonight by saying some thank yous to following Bob, but to all the former players. So many were down there tonight. Players and coaches that you're thinking Lee Corso. You're thinking some players and coaches who have left us. Dave Schnell, a quarterback back in the day when I started watching, and then Bill Mallory and their families, and Coach Hepp. All part of Indiana football, and it's been mocked and made fun of forever. But those guys, my brother-in-law Ross Hales, played with Trent Green, and they had a big get-together in Miami at the Peach Bowl. And even recent graduates, Tevin Coleman and all those guys, and the ones that we don't know and don't say out loud, that put the grind in while everyone was talking about us being the losingest program in college football, or second worst football program. Thank you to you guys for the time and effort that you put in, and enjoy this one too. To the current Indiana squad, thanks for all that you did to bring this to us. And to Coach Signetti, the athletic department, I'll follow up, Pam Witten, all of that, to be able to do this. All of the season ticket holders, like Joel, 50 years, 40 years for me, and many more that either listen to us or around there that have been through the ups and more of the downs than the ups. We finally get the ultimate. And then, since we are Back Home Network, I'm going to go back and say, Scott, Galen, cheers to you again. Just awesome. Congratulations. Well-deserved. The time and effort that you put in for Crimson Cast, the Back Home Network, supporting Indiana athletics, but especially Indiana football. You guys deserve some time off and some kudos to you, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. And then again, another big shout out to all of you who tune in, and we appreciate you. Indiana 16-0, national champions. Never thought it would happen. I'm going to go answer my 64 text messages. But cheers to everyone in Hoosier Nation tonight. We did it. We won the Natty.
The pride of Indiana. Hail to old IU.
Good night.